Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about running consistency. So it is a Sunday morning, and I'm doing my longer run today. It's not a huge distance, about 8 miles, I reckon. I'm doing today. I always try and do at least a 10k on a Saturday and Sunday, or the equivalent of. So I'll try and do 20k over the weekend and 5k each day, minimum in the working week. But Sunday is the new day for all things running, because it's normally kind of, Sundays are normally a day which is kind of linked to long runs, so it just made it more applicable to do my running content today. So this question was it was a comment that was raised in the Runpreneur Facebook group, which was basically a question about how you maintain running consistency, and it was by Wayne Bettis. Hope I pronounced that right, Wayne. So this is it's an important one, and bizarrely, I don't think this is much to do with actual running, but it's more to do with running mindset. And what I mean by that is that running gives people so many different things. Just ran across a massive cobweb across the road. That's a bit strange. But anyway, running can give so many different people so many different things in a positive way in their life. I talk a lot about running and what it does for me and my mindset, especially how it helps me kind of manage, control kind of entrepreneurial overwhelm, anxiety and stress. And I think without it, it kind of catches up with you and can cause you a huge amount of pressure. And if you get too much pressure, then something gives. I've been there before, I've lost businesses because of it. And running is now an integral part of my daily routine because it keeps me in that element of positivity. So the reason I'm telling you that is that, although I do a lot of miles, I do a lot of crazy events and challenges, etc., I get more from running mentally than I do physically, which is amazing. It's kind of mind-boggling at times. So my opinion on this is running consistency is the focus on turning running from, I'm just going to go out, do a little bit of exercise, try and keep fit, to turning it into a habit. And I've done a separate episode on this about the importance of doing something for 66 days in a row, which then turns into a habit. Now, I've been doing this vlog for 160 plus days now, and I've probably been running straight for somewhere 170, 175 days straight now. And to begin with, it was a novelty, so it was fine. You're coming out, it's all fun. And also, bear in mind, I started the vlog on the 1st of May. No, 1st of June, sorry. So I started this vlog on the 1st of June when we were going through a really nice period of weather. It was like, put my vest on, get a bit of a tan, go out and run, talk. It was all a new kind of experience. But now I've done it for so long, done it for the best part of half a year, that, so 6 months in now, it's a habit. I just reinforced it. Now and there have been times, 100%, where I've woken up for, the weather's horrible out there, really don't feel like it. And normally, I'll just go, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow or do it later. And it's that procrastination that kind of seeps into our minds that makes us not do stuff. And when you turn something into a habit, you've kind of broken down that procrastination voice in your mind, and you've kind of weathered them down so that they just don't even bother anymore. Like, my body's just accepted that every day I'm going to run at least 5k. At the weekend, I'll go a bit further. And it's just accepted it. And even those horrible days, I now know as well, when you wake up groggy and that side of things, when I get back from a run, all right, the run might be horrible, but when I get back from it, the positivity and it gives me is so important to the rest of the day and my well-being that I know what that feels like now. So I don't even argue. I'm going for a run, and that's it. So point number one on how to maintain running consistency is hold yourself accountable, and the best way to do that is to turn it into a habit. And like I said, we've talked about it takes 66 days to go from something where you're thinking about it, you're questioning it, to turning it into an actual habit where you don't question it anymore. It just becomes part of your daily life, your daily routine, or your weekly life. And when I say habit, you don't have to run every day of the week like I do. In fact, there was some evidence out there suggests it's a bad thing to do. You know, the risk of shin splints and recurring injury, no time to recover. And I'm not one to argue with evidence, especially scientific evidence. But for me and how my body's worked, you know, I'm not pushing the boat out, I'm not gunning it. I'm not trying to do a PB every day on 5K. In fact, I've done no speed work since doing this vlog, really, because I've been converting to barefoot running. Now I've done a couple of kind of tempo runs maybe, but the point I'm making is, running every day, it works for me. I'm doing it at a slower pace. If I'm injured, I'm running through it, but really slowly. So it's almost like walking, just to kind of keep the blood flow to the muscles and aid recovery. So back to the point about making it a habit. It doesn't have to be daily. It can be weekly. It can be twice a week. It can be three times a week. And I would always suggest start smaller and build up, because what you want to do is it's really negative on your mind if you start going, I'm running 5, 6, 7 days a week, and then after a week or two you're down to 5 days, after another week or two you're down to 3 days. What's that telling your mind? What's that telling your body? That that's acceptable. So it's much better, and that's a negative thought process which is going through your mind, which is telling your body that that's okay. It's telling your mind it's okay. You didn't feel like it today, just knock on the head. But if you want to get that consistency, you can't allow that thought process to occur. As soon as you do that, it's really, really difficult to bring it back. So a much better way, just go past these people first. Morning. A much better way to do it would be to start like once a week, then the next week do twice a week, maybe 4 weeks later, 3 times a week, maybe a month later, 4 times a week, and then maybe you stick at 4 because you know that any more of that's not going to be achievable. So that's enforcing positive processes into your mind. What we mean by that is your body's telling you, this is good, I'm getting better at this, I'm upping my workload, I'm improving, I'm progressing, I'm consistent. That's a completely different thing than telling your body or your mind telling yourself that it's okay just to reduce my workload, take the easy option, because that then gets embedded into your mind in the future. So I think it's really, really important to understand the importance of habits and how that they can reinforce consistency. The second thing is accountability. And there's lots of ways you can do this. Some people are so mentally strong that they can hold themselves accountable themselves. And that's a really incredible thing to do, because I like to think I'm extremely mentally resilient. However, there's always times where you have that doubt in your mind, and it's so easy to listen to it and listen to that voice. So I don't even trust myself with self-accountability. And for those of you that can, you're a very, 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 very rare specimen. That's amazing you can do that. But there's other ways you can kind of hold yourself accountable, far easier. There's a reason I do all these challenges, raising money for charity, all these types of things, because it holds me accountable. If I don't perform, I don't train, I don't perform, I don't raise the money, I don't help the children. And that's massive to me. So that holds me accountable. It's almost like I'm letting the children down. They might be many steps away, but I'm letting those people down. They might not even know I've let them down, but I know, and that's bad enough. The other thing you can do, like this vlog, for example, the Run Every Day challenge. The Run Every Day challenge, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I'd achieve it if I didn't do the vlog with it. The vlog, and I said when I started it, is an experiment. It still is an experiment. It's got a bit more structure to it now, and it's progressing into something a little bit bigger now, which is great. But it was always an experiment, but also it was an accountability project as well. Because deep down I knew, running every day, okay, it's harder to break the longer you've done it, because you're committed. But the issue would have been is that on a really bad day, if I felt a bit rough, I'm hungover, or I've got an injury, I would have probably talked myself out of running. When you're vlogging every day, then I know there's a couple of weeks between recording and publishing. However, as far as I'm concerned, I'm broadcasting to the world that I'm running every day. And if I don't, I probably wouldn't get, no one would probably notice, but there could be just one person out there that is watching my vlog every day and says, hang on a minute, you didn't run that day, or monitoring my Strava feed, which has the evidence of every day's run. And that's enough to make me think, gosh, I don't want to let that person down. There's other ways you can hold yourself accountable. Running partners. Find someone who's got similar running ambitions as you, partner up with them. If you can't find anybody locally, Facebook groups, running groups on Facebook, looking for a running buddy local to this area, there'll be somebody out there, guarantee you. The other option is go to a running club. And you don't have to join elite ones. There are loads of community-based running clubs out there which are about supporting one another regardless of standard. Okay, I'm not an elite runner, but I do some elite kind of activities or events, like barefoot run. I'm the only runner in my club that's the barefoot marathon runner. I'm fairly decent at running. I'm not elite, but I'm fairly decent. But I still like to be part of a community-based running club. Now, there are elite runners within my club. That's Eastern Limpington runners or high runners, and it's more commonly known. But it's the best community I think I've ever met. And the support you get is unbelievable. And you get people there that go through all the battles that all of us do as runners. But the difference is that the community brings you back, and it brings you back to the weekly sessions. It gives you that kind of motivation. And you can find accountability partners in the group really, really easily. And it's been game changing for a really stroppy pickup truck driver there looking at running me off the road. But there you go, you get them there and thereabouts. But anyway, back to the main point. The community is so important from a supports perspective. Really, really important. And if you can get that in your life as well, it will mean that you'll maintain that consistency far easier than if you try to do it alone. So there's a few things you can kind of do here. The other thing is enter races, enter challenges that you have to train for. But I've talked about this before. When you're setting these goals, always look at them as milestones, because so many people build up to some main event and then they're depressed when they've done it. It's amazing euphoria when you do it, but when you finish that, the euphoria kind of goes and you're like, oh, what am I running for now? So always treat it as a milestone and try and think at least 2 events ahead if you're going to go down this route, because then you've got the next one to plan for. And that's really, really important to keep your mindset in the right place, to maintain that consistency. So it's another one that you can kind of hit. And it doesn't have to be a time-based event. It can be, I'm just going to turn up and finish. But to finish an endurance event, I have to train, I have to be consistent in my training to enable me to achieve that. Just going past some horses to bear me too. Morning. So yes, that's a big one. So hopefully there's a few things there that will help you, Wayne, and anybody who's listening to this, in terms of maintaining running consistency. But to summarise in order, as I discussed them in this episode, point number 1, trying to rack my brains now, so what I was actually talking about, when you run, your mind can sometimes fire a blank. The one was turn running into a habit. Really, really important. So commit to something for at least 66 days, however frequent you're doing it, and it will reinforce it to be a habit into your routine in your life. Which is really, really important. Number 2 was accountability. And there's different ways you can either hold yourself accountable by yourself, really, really difficult to do, or use other tools, i.e. social media is a way of doing it, accountability partner, running club, lots of different ways you can kind of do it to hold yourself accountable. Raise money for charity is another one. And the last one is register for events, but don't treat them as goals, treat them as milestones, and always plan 2 ahead. Because once you've achieved an event, if you want to maintain that consistency onwards, you need to have the next one planned. So when you finish that one event, and you're going for the next one, set up the one after that. So always plan your events in twos. Really important to avoid that inevitable lull of emotions. You know, I've had it a few times. You've done iconic marathons like London Marathon. I did my Ninja Marathon, and I had to run the next day. You know, it's you have to kind of have these next challenges in mind in order to maintain that consistency. So really, really important. So that's it for me today. Hope you found this useful. As always, if it's any questions on this, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate episode and tag you in like I've done with Wayne here. And if it's not for you, and it's just cluttering up your social feeds, just unfriend or unfollow me. No problem there. But before you go, please do subscribe to my Runpreneur YouTube channel, which is where the full-length versions of all of these daily episodes now are uploaded and nicely catalogued into playlists as well, which makes it really easy to navigate. And it's a nice free resource you can tap in and out of on an ad hoc basis. Additionally, do check out my Facebook Runpreneur group, which will be converted to hosting all the free resources that come along with the vlog moving forward. So there'll be some nice free stuff in there as well that you can kind of tap into as well. So do check that out. So that's it for me today. As always, the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help entrepreneurs overcome stress, anxiety, overwhelm by using exercises as a mechanism to manage, control and thrive under these emotions that every entrepreneur experiences. And the key point there is every entrepreneur is experiencing them, and the entrepreneurs that succeed are the ones that deal with these emotions the best. And the ones that bottle it up, don't take action, don't deal with it, one of two things happens, which is terminal to your, which are both terminal to your business. Either the entrepreneur breaks down or the business breaks down. And with only 1 in 10 businesses lasting the test of time these days, stats are pretty damning. And entrepreneurial overwhelm, stress, anxiety are key reasons why that figure is so low. So my pledge to you is, if you are an entrepreneur, small business owner, going through these emotions, and you've got no one to talk to, you feel you've got no one to help you with, drop me a message. No charge, completely free. I'll jump on a call with you and we'll try and give you a few little action steps to kind of get things back under control, because actually it's quite easy to thrive under these conditions when you know how. And I've been on both sides. I've lost businesses because of it. I've been depressed, I've had anxiety, and now I have more businesses than I've ever had, more workload, yet I just deal with it and it feels very, very comfortable. And I like to feel I'm thriving under these conditions now. And if I can share some advice to you, then all the better. So the vlog saves just one entrepreneur or one business out there. It's 1,000,000% worthwhile. So do take me up on that if you fall into that category. So anyway, that's it for me today. As always, I'll leave you with stay positive and stay happy, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.